What's up, guys? Welcome back to my channel. My name is Yejide, and if it's your first time stopping by, you are most definitely welcome. Guys, thank you so much for 8,000 subs. I am really grateful. I'm so excited to have you all on here. I am really happy about it. Thank you so much. So guys, on today's episode, I'm going to show us how I made this beautiful shirt with cuffs. I already drafted the pattern in my previous video, so if you're yet to see that, please go watch it. So guys, without further ado, let's get right into the video. So guys, here are the materials I'm going to be using. This is silk material or Duchess. You can get Duchess. I got for this style, for this shirt, you're going to be needing about 1.5 yards to 2 yards, and I also got this China lining also for it. So guys, like I said, this is the pattern from my previous video, so I went ahead to cut out 2 pieces of each. That's the front pattern. I cut out 2 pieces of the material. I also cut out 2 pieces of the lining. I did the same thing for the back pattern. So guys, I'm just going to go ahead now to remove my pins so we can start working on it. So guys, the first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to place the lining under my fabric. That's the main fabric I'm using. So this is it. I'm starting with the front patterns first. So this is what they look like. You can see, like I said, for the front pattern, you're going to cut out 2 pieces of the main fabric, 2 pieces of the lining. You're going to repeat the same thing using the back pattern that you must have drafted. So guys, I'm just using pins to hold down the lining to the main fabric. And guys, if you have an overlocking machine, go ahead to lock all the edges to prevent the material from fraying. If you don't have an overlocking machine, you can also just go ahead to run straight stitches on all the edges of the main fabric to the lining. I hope we understand that. This is just to hold down the lining to the fabric. So I'm going to repeat the same thing for all the pieces of the materials I have. This is the front pattern. I'm going to do the same thing for the back pattern. So as you can see, I'm repeating the same thing for the back pattern. Like I said, just go ahead to join your lining to your main fabric and overlock all the edges. Make sure it is close to the edges, or just run a straight stitch using your normal sewing machine. So guys, here it is. I've gone ahead to hold down my lining to my main fabric, and these are the back pieces. As you can see, I'm just going to place them on each other like so, and I'll come to this my zipper area. You can see, and I'll mark out my zipper allowance. That's the zipper length, and my zipper length is about 8.5 inches. I've marked that. Then the zipper allowance that I left on the pattern, it was 1 inch. I hope we can remember that. So that is what I'm marking to where my zipper length is going to get to. So just mark down 1 inch as the zipper allowance. So guys, what we're going to do is we're not going to fix the zip yet, so we can work on the pattern very well. So I'm not going to fix the zip yet. So guys, after my zipper length, the next thing I'm marking is the sewing allowance I left, and that is 0.5 inch. That's what I'm marking. So guys, I'm simply going to run a straight stitch on this part like so. I'm going to use my pins to hold both fabrics down. So guys, I'm also going to do the same thing for the front pattern. The other one I just did now was the back. So now these are the front pieces. I'm going to place them on each other like so, and I'm going to go ahead to mark my sewing allowance, which is 0.5 inch. I'm going to mark this all the way on this crotch area. So I'm going to go ahead now to sew this down. You can see I'm going to sew down on that 0.5 inch allowance, and I'm going to iron them out. So guys, this is what they look like. I have my lined front and back piece. So guys, the next thing now is to work on the back pattern first. These are both pieces, front and back pattern. So I'm going to work on the back pattern first to create my pleats. So guys, from the center back, mark 4 inches to the left and the right. Just mark 4 inches to the left and the right. So guys, from that chalk mark 3 inches to your left. Then from the next chalk mark also mark 3 inches to your right. So guys, don't forget we left 3 inches as our pleat allowance on the back pattern. That is what I'm making sure of now. So guys, the next thing to do is place your first chalk marking point, place it on the second point like so, then use your pin to hold that down. So guys, on the back piece, we are going to have one pleat on the left side, one pleat on the right side. So I'm going to repeat the same thing for the other side. Place my first chalk point to the second chalked point, and I'm going to use my pin to hold that down in place. As you can see, this is very simple to do. Just make sure you are placing this the correct way. So guys, the next thing I'm going to do is to iron down my pleat, and I'm also going to take this to my sewing machine to sew down a straight stitch on it to hold my pleats in place. Yes, so guys, now for the front pattern, I'm going to come in by 2 inches from the edge of the material. I'm going to come in by 2 inches on the left. I'll repeat the same thing for the right. So guys, on this front pattern, I want to make 2 pleats each on both sides. So guys, from that point, I'm going to come in again by 2 inches. Then from that, I'm going to repeat the same thing at the other side like so. So guys, just like the back pattern, I'm going to place the first chalked point to the second chalk point on the left part, and I'm going to repeat the same thing for the right. Don't forget guys, I'm making 2 pleats on each side of this front pattern, unlike the back pattern where we have just 1 pleat on both sides. And guys, if you can remember vividly from my pattern drafting video, I left 4 inches allowance for my front pleats. So guys, once I'm done with the first pleat, now to make the second pleat, mark 1.5 inches from that your pleat point, mark it inwards 1.5 inches. Then from that point, mark 2 inches to your left and 2 inches to your right. That 1.5 is just the distance between both pleats. So guys, to make your second pleat, you are going to take the next chalk marking point or the next chalked points to this other one like so. As you can see, that's what I'm doing. I've gone ahead to do it for the other side. So just place it on the last chalked point like so. So as you can see, the pleats are not facing each other, they are both facing the middle, you know, they are leaning towards the middle part. So guys, the next thing is to run a straight stitch on the edge of my pleat like so, the edge of my waist, you know, to hold down my pleat in place. So I'm going to take this to the sewing machine now to sew that down. So guys, these are both pieces. I'm done with the pleat. You can see this is what they look like for the front and the back piece. So guys, I've also gone ahead to iron down my pleat. So guys, when I was ironing, I made sure my pleat, I didn't let my pleat get down. You see, my pleat just got halfway and they stopped there. So that is how I want my pleat to look like. If you want it to get to the edge of the material, then that is up to you. So guys, the next thing I'm going to do is mark my sewing allowance on both sides of the pieces, which is ½ inch. Don't forget we left ½ inch as a sewing allowance. So I'm going to mark this on both sides of the piece. So guys, don't forget that I didn't leave any sewing allowance on the front piece, but I left 1 inch on the back piece. So that 1 inch is what we are dividing between both pieces, you know, ½ inch by both sides. So I'm going to repeat the same thing for the other side. I'm just marking 0.5 inch all the way from the waist to the hem line, and I'm going to take this to the sewing machine to sew that down. Then this crotch area also, I'm going to make sure they are facing each other like so, they are well aligned. I'll make sure that that area that is sewn, you know, they are facing each other well before I make my own stitch. So guys, this is it. I've gone ahead to join the edges, the sides rather. I've also gone ahead to join the crotch area. So this is what it looks like. So guys, the next thing now will be to join the waistband. So guys, the waist band is 30 inches. Why? That's the length. Why the wideness is 4 inches. So guys, that's what I'm going to cut out now. Waistband of 30 inches length, then wideness of 4 inches. I already showed how I did this in my pattern drafting video. So guys, this is my waistband. It is on fold already. I'm just going to show you guys the width and the length. So guys, you can see the width is 4 inches while the length is 30 inches. So how we got the length, my waist is 28 inches plus 2 inches zip allowance. So that is how I got my 30 inches. So guys, I'm going to join my band to the waist area, and how I'm going to join this, I'm going to loosen up this zipper area that we sewed down when I started this video, remember. So I'm just going to use my seam ripper to loosen the stitches up to my zip allowance length, which was 8.5 inches. So that is what I'm doing right now, you can see. So now I'm going to just make sure I have the same 8.5 inches in length for my zipper length. Then I'm going to go ahead to lock down that part so it doesn't come loose. So guys, I'm going to start joining my waistband from this zipper parts. So guys, I'm going to join my band on the right side of my short, you can see like so. I'm going to place that edge that is not sewn. Remember that this my band is on fold, so I'm going to sew this down by 1/2 inch all the way around the waist. So guys, this is it, this is what it looks like. You can see that my short is coming out pretty already. So the next thing will be to add my zip, and guys, I'm making use of an invincible zip, you can see. And I got the long one so I can just sew this comfortably. That other short one is usually too short for me. So guys, the last thing now is to add our cuff. So guys, again, from the pattern drafting video, the cuff length is 25 inches while the wideness is 4 inches. So guys, I went ahead to cut out 2 pieces. You can see this is 25 inches in length and the wideness or the width is 4 inches. So guys, the next thing I'm going to do is just to fold this into 2 like so, and I'm going to take this to the sewing machine and sew down by 1/2 inch. I'll repeat the same thing for the other side. So guys, I've gone ahead to sew down both pieces, and this is what they look like. So guys, the next thing I'm going to do now, I'm going to fold this into 2 like so. I'm going to turn this to the right and I'm going to take this inside. You can see, just make sure it is folded into 2 like so. I'll repeat the same thing for the other one, and I'm going to iron them down. I'm going to make sure it lays very flat, because if you iron this well, you're going to be able to join it to your hemline perfectly. So guys, I'm gonna head to do that. The next thing, I'm going to come to this crotch area, and I'll join that part that I made a stitch on the cuff. I'm going to join that part to the part on the short that has joining, and I'm going to sew this round my hemline. As you can see, start from that crotch area. I'm going to repeat the same thing for the other hemline. So guys, this is it. I'm gonna head to join my cuff to my hemline, and the last thing now will be to add my zipper. So guys, I'm going to make sure to iron this perfectly, but before we do that, the next thing is to make sure our cuff is in shape. So guys, I'll turn this back to the right side, and you can see this is what it looks like. So guys, the next thing I'm going to make sure of, I'm going to open up my cuff like so. So just make sure you open it up like this, the way I'm doing, like so. I'm just going to open it up like so. Then as you're opening it up, make sure that the part that is sewn, those sewn parts enters. Make sure that they are not showing on the outside, as you can see. So that is what is going to form our cuff. So just open it up like so, and take this to your ironing table and press it down very well. So guys, I'm going to repeat the same thing for the other parts or the other side. Just open it up, open up your cuff like so. So you have some parts on the short and some parts below the short, like so. So guys, How this is going to stay in place is by two ways. I'm going to stitch, just make a little stitch on both edges of the cuff, and I'm also going to iron this down so it can actually stay in place. So this is how it's going to look like when I'm done. So guys, this is the part I'm going to stitch. I'm just going to stitch this down a little bit. I'll do the same thing at the other side just so my cuff can stay in place. I'm also going to do the same thing on this side, on the side of the shorts here. Just run little stitch on that part for the cuff to stay in place, like I said. So little stitch on the inside, the crotch area, and on the outside also. So guys, then I'm just going to add my zipper and we're basically done with this tutorial. So guys, adding lining to your short is optional. I added lining to mine so it could give my short more structure, as you can see. So guys, please don't forget to give this video a big fat thick thumbs up and also subscribe to my channel if you are yet to. I'm going to see you all in the next video. Bye.